Cahill's coming out with his first drag of the morning. Pretty good sized sycamore in tow there. I'm going through here and getting these logs marked. That way I can be ready to buck them up. We can get that. I like to try to stay on top of that. If you get, to me, just my thoughts, if you get too big of a pile of logs and you don't kind of stick with your bucking and marking, you just you get behind and you're going to spend a whole day doing it or more, and it's just easier to kind of stick with it and kind of keep up with it anyway. So Cahill's dragging, Kenny's cutting, I think Mike's hooking chokers for Cahill or bucking or marking, barking trees. Good Lord, it's already one of those days. Anyway, once I get these marked, I'm going to go ahead and start bucking them. I meant to bring one of the skid steers up here today. That way we can start, getting things sorted out. Because like we got one lone pecan right there. Did I zoom in too far? No, right there. Got that one lone pecan. It's a good pecan. There's going to be several pecan here. But that pecan, of course, it's a separate deal. That one there will probably sell it for an actual lumber grade instead of tonnage, because it's just too good of a tree to try to run in with the tonnage stuff. So, but yeah, we try to get these things separated and put in their respective piles where they need to go. But marking logs, especially out here in the sun, in the summer, it's I don't know. I mean, I work the deck a lot. I don't mind working the deck, especially on the walnut. Marking your logs. I mean, that's either going to make you or break you on your logs when you get to marking them. Now this stuff here, it's pretty cut and dry, like your pallet material. On the blocking stuff, pretty much 8s and 12s are what we move on the blocking, so it's not that big of a deal. I just try to mark them to where there's minimal to no waste, because I don't like wasting any wood. I want to utilize everything we cut. So I've still got a few more to go here. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of studying the pecan here. It took a little more. You get to where you study those trees, because you need to know where you're going to get the best cuts that are going to bring the most money, but at the same time keep you in the footage and not be wasteful. So there's a method to all that madness, and it's taken me, of course, following around Dad for all those years, watching him and kind of learning from Dad, and a million, probably 2 million questions I ask him about it, and still do a lot from time to time about marking and grading logs. But it's really what'll make you or break you on your job site. If your logs are marked incorrectly, you will lose a significant amount of money. And if you can mark them right, you will make good money, and you'll pick up more footage, and you'll produce better cuts for your buyers. It's a good deal. So we'll get back to this. Hopefully, if I can kind of get this done in a timely manner, I can go back in there. I've got some trees there that Mike had barked for me yesterday. I'd like to get them down. There's some walnut I'd like to cut, and I think there's a pretty good group of trees right in here to work up to. We should be done with this little piece here by the end of the day. Of course, they're calling for rain chances, you might know, starting this evening, going through the rest of the week, and I think there's some pretty good rain chances, and this ground here does not need any rain. It needs a lot of sunshine and Jesus is what this ground needs. So we'll see what we can get done. It is one hot mother today. We've just about got all this row bucked. I'm getting ready to put my third tank of gas in. I'm telling you, the downside of that last tank was pretty brutal. I had to take a break there a bit ago. It was starting to get pretty warm. Cahill coming out with another drag. Big sycamore in tow. Lower the load, brake, hop off. Getting her unclasped. So as soon as I get this last one bucked, I run out of gas. I've got 2 more cuts to make on it. As soon as I get it bucked, I'm gonna mark those up and I guess get started on them. And some walnut over there is starting to come out today. We'll go over there and mark on those walnut. But it is hot. My gosh, it's hot. It's in the lower 90s, but the humidity is just, I mean, it's just out of this world. It pulls everything you got right out of you. I am soaked to the bone. I did bring an extra change of clothes with me today because I kind of had a feeling it'd be a nasty one. So we'll work probably a couple hours longer. Then we'll take lunch, and I doubt we come back today as hot as it is. We'd like to get, all in all, probably 7,000-8,000 feet out on the deck, which won't be any trouble today. What's been coming out the size of logs. Then we'll head in for the day. I've got to go look at timber down at Republic, Missouri this evening. So always running, always on the road. If we're not in the woods, we're always on the road. Whew. Stay cool out there, my gosh. I'm ready for fall. He's getting a little faster every time. He really picks up on stuff good. Cahill's 20 years old. His oldest brother and I pretty much grew up together. We were like brothers. We're only 4 years apart in age. Then he's got a brother that's older than him named Cole, who I corrupted, needless to say. He's a good kid. He's a hard worker too. He goes on the road welding. Cahill here, he went to college a little bit, didn't like it. Went to welding school, decided welding wasn't for him. He's getting ready to finish with diesel school now. He's a great big devil. I mean, all he does is work out too, just a monster. Doesn't say much, pretty quiet. Just a good kid. Like I said, he seems to pick up on things pretty quick. He seems to like logging, so far anyway. It's always fun the first little bit until you start to get more involved in it, then it kind of becomes a love-hate relationship some days, and some days it's just a hate relationship. But all in all, logging, it really is a great profession. It's something that you better make sure you love it, because it'll test everything you got. It'll test, what you're physically capable of. It'll put a strain on what you're mentally capable of. So high stress a lot of times, especially being owner-operator. There's always a lot going on. It's fast-paced. Not a lot of vacations to be had. Downtimes usually. We try to keep it to rain days or weather days. We don't take off a lot. And I think that's any profession when you're self-employed, not just logging. I think that's construction, farming, it could be anything. It's when you work for yourself, it's not a 40-hour week by any means. It's more like a 100-hour week or a 110-hour week. And you take it with you wherever you go. I mean, it's always right there weighing on your mind. And I know it's really tested a lot of things in my life, whether it be relationships I've had or the wanting to go do things. There's a lot of times I want to go do stuff, but you're committed and you're obligated, and you feel if this is where you belong and where you need to be to, make sure you can uphold your end of the deal for all your clients and potential clients. So, but I wouldn't have it any other way, honestly, wouldn't I? I couldn't imagine doing anything else. But stick in hand, let's get these marked up. Then we'll get them bucked up. Look at that ornery sucker right there. Hollows the gourd there, probably at least 5 foot of it, and the top ain't no good. Some of these are just ornery trees. Growing down here in this lowland, they're just ornery trees. Too much water. That sycamore there is a prime example. You can see it's kind of, see if I can hit the zoom there. Starting to go bad in the top right there. So some of these, I mean, they look good standing, but they're really not. And I was talking to Dad about that at coffee this morning. We were talking about this job. Of course, he hasn't been up here. He was going to brush hog today, which, as hot as it is, my dad, he don't need to be out here. Because he would. It don't matter hot, cold. He's going to work himself to death one way or another. And this heat's hard. I mean, it's hard on everybody. But he's going to brush hog today. But we were talking about the quality of timber, about everything down in these kind of standing water and low bottom areas. A lot of times this stuff tends to cut bad. It tends not to be very good timber when it's, in places like this. You might have to, here's a good example, you might have to butt off either something off the bottom or something off the top. I mean, it's just a lot of this stuff is prone to cutting bad. See, that tree's probably about bad the whole way through, honestly. I'm guessing that's probably a top log to that tree. That's the way it goes, though. We'll wait for Cahill to come out and see what he brings me this time. Here's some of the walnut coming out. Nothing's ate up with the worm, which these are just little lumber logs anyway, not that big of a deal. It's a good clean tree, some footage in it. Here's what I mean by bad. Cahill coming out with a good drag there. Good drag. It's not hard to pull out 1,000 feet at a time, stuff like that. Anyway, you see what I mean here. We're going in not quite 2 feet, but we'll probably try to cut, I'd say 18, 20 inches off of it. We'll take off that butt. A lot of times when I see this kind of squarish bark and these little low bottoms, anywhere really, but that squarish bark, especially if I see some dead limbs coming out of it, that's always a pretty good telltale sign that there's a good chance this won't, or that tree, not so much this one, but any of them will cut bad, especially on the walnuts. But see, like right here, there's been a dead limb protruding out of it right there. So those factors there, going bad right there too. You get to, after a while, you kind of know what to look at or what you're looking for in these trees. It's just a lot of experience over time. Good chance it might cut bad right there too, and you go to cut it off. Got a hole right there. Ornery trees. Hey guys, if you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.